My name is Rebecca Johnson, and these are my index cards. The two sources that I used for this informative speech are The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Slutz and the Johns Hopkins magazine Immortal Cells by Dale Krieger. How many of you have ever had your blood drawn? How many of you have ever had a tonsillectomy? How many of you have ever even had your throat swabbed for strep? I'm going to assume that most of you have. If you answered yes to any of these questions, then it's quite possible that your cells are stored in a cell bank without your knowledge. In 1951, a woman named Henrietta Lacks came into Johns Hopkins Hospital with cervical cancer. In The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, Skloot wrote, "During her surgery, Dr. Warrington picked up a sharp knife and shaved 2 dime-sized pieces off her tissue. One from her tumor and one from the healthy piece nearby. Then he placed the samples in a glass dish. Lacks cells were then proceeded to be taken to the lab nearby." Referring to Skloot's book, page 5, "Wasn't it illegal for doctors to take Henrietta's cells without her knowledge? Don't doctors tell you when they use our cells in the research?" The answer is no. Not in 1951, and not in the year 2009 when this book went to the press. According to Johns Hopkins magazine, as of the year 2015, it is still not illegal to use patient cells without consent. Dr. Gay, the man who grew Henrietta's cells, was trying to grow an immortal cell line, which would be used for research for vaccines on how medications react to human cells. This is a very challenging project for most of doctors around the world, mostly because cells don't last any longer than a month in their culture medium. However, Henrietta Lacks' cells, unlike the others, are still growing to this day. They grow into whatever amount of space you give them. The cells are so strong that they can travel through the air, on people's clothes, invading other cultures, and taking over the containers. These cells have made companies billions of dollars, while the Lacks family still lives in poverty without health care. Henrietta's cells have played a vital role in the developmental of medical breakthroughs, like the polio vaccine, chemotherapy, cloning, the effect space has on human cells, and many more. Still to this day, her cells continue to be a part of medical discoveries and save countless lives. Ironically, when her son Sonny had a quintuple bypass surgery in 2003, the last thing his surgeon told him before he fell asleep was his mother's cells, Henrietta Lacks, were one of the most important things that have ever happened in medical industry. Sonny woke up a few hours later with $125,000 in debt because he couldn't afford health insurance. Henrietta Lacks passed away in the year 1951, shortly after her surgery. However, to this day, she still has living cells. Those cells were taken from her without her knowledge and her consent, then put into a lab room the same day she had her surgery for cancer. As a result, her cells have helped with multiple vaccines and medical discoveries. like the polio vaccine and chemotherapy. In addition, those cells have made companies billions of dollars, while the Lacks family and Lacks still have not made a penny off of her cells. Do you know where your cells are?